The second stitch I'm going to teach you is called a purl stitch, and this gives you the stocking knit look of a pattern. So instead of going in through the front of the needle, you're actually going to have your working end in front of you. You're going to insert your needle through the front, but from the right. You're going to loop the yarn counterclockwise, like you do for a knit stitch, but you're going to pull the yarn back rather than forward. So in a knit stitch, you're going in through the front. In a purl stitch, you're going to go in through the other side. Your yarn still travels the same way, and that gives you a purl stitch. In knitting, there's really only two stitches. There's knit, there's purl, but there are thousands of different ways of putting the two together to get beautiful and intricate projects. So I'm just gonna go through and do this row really quick. I actually used to knit wrong. This is probably the only time I'm going to say this. I actually did my purl stitch backwards for the longest time, and I'm talking over 20 years. My grandmother taught me how to knit, and I never understood when she said, "You're twisting your stitches, you're twisting your stitches," until I did a gauge swatch in absolutely tiny silk. Now there are some materials out there that are more unforgiving than others, and this silk was the moment I realized exactly what she meant. And unfortunately she had already passed away. What I was doing is, instead of going this way, I was looping my yarn clockwise, and it was actually twisting my stitches backwards, and sometimes it would actually make the project really difficult for me because my stitches laid differently along the knitting needle. So that is a row of purl stitches, and because I'm doing a stocking knit pattern, so you can see there, I will now knit the entire next row. So this is garter stitch, this is knitting every row. If I purled every row, I would get the same effect. But since I'm knitting one row and purling the next row, I'm getting that flat look rather than that textured, bumpy look. There, that's the purl stitch. See you soon.